As the first line of runes was filled with this flame, Xiao could vaguely sense that the place he had just climbed was being slowly powered by an ancient and mysterious holy force. Under its illumination, the void above refracted, revealing the distinct form of a bronze-colored stone pillar base. Given the appearance of the flame god's cauldron that Xiao had used earlier, it wasn't hard to guess that this place was likely one of the cauldron legs of the flame god's cauldron. Upon realizing this, a wave of ecstatic joy surged in Xiao heart. After a moment, he calmed his restless excitement, maintaining an emotionless expression. He consciously slowed his climbing speed, knowing that with his current determination, leaping over this gigantic cauldron would only take a few minutes. Moments later, he jumped forward, covering some distance and reaching the second dark rune. In an instant, the same scene slowly unfolded. The earthy yellow flame once again separated from Xiao body and without hesitation, was infused into the dark rune beside him, transforming into an ancient and vague holy rune that flickered within. The pattern and form of the rune perfectly matched that of the rune it had merged with. Moreover, Xiao could feel that this separation did not affect his strength or the holy flame in any way. It seemed to be merely a faint trace of holy flame energy. As two flames were infused, this ancient and massive object seemed to be slowly revealing its true form. The 34th holy flame, heart-burning demonic flame. However, at this moment, no flame appeared in the runes of the cauldron. Instead, a vast commotion stirred, as if it were calling or summoning something. In the demon realm, within the Blood Moon domain, where the Blood Moon sovereign resided. After many years, someone has finally found this divine artifact and begun activating the flame god's cauldron. Then let me lend you a hand. The Blood Moon sovereign gazed up at the endless starry sky, excitement flickering in his eyes. With a faint trace of holy flame within his body, it seemed as if he understood something. He swiftly pointed, and dark flames erupted from his body, shooting toward the infinite void. It seemed that all holy flame wielders could clearly sense the faint connection between the holy flames and the flame god's cauldron. The 33rd, calamity-transforming heavenly demon flame. Within the boundless fire domain, the meeting concluded, and the four women dispersed to their respective rooms for quiet cultivation. Suddenly, the holy flame within Kai Lin's body shifted, as if it had been summoned by something deep within her soul. Has the flame god's cauldron been found? Looks like my tin-colored power also needs to be accelerated in enlightenment. Her jade hand lifted, and the light green flame, like a child yearning to return home, swept through the void and vanished from sight. The 32nd, immortal wind heavenly flame. That guy Xiao is so fast. A beautiful figure lightly flicked her finger, and a dark blue flame dragon surged from nowhere, vanishing like a shooting star before her. This figure was Xun'er, who, after the near destruction of the immortal realm, had obtained this holy flame. Now, she was on her way to the ghost realm to find Xiao and the Yama of the 10th king. The 31st, returned to void profound thunder flame. To think that, aside from the holy king, there are others powerful enough to find the flame god's cauldron. In the Buddhist realm, within a holy place called the Great Thunder Sound Temple, a monk enveloped in thunderous power smiled faintly. With a roll of his hand, he performed a hand seal, and a golden Buddhist statue made of dazzling gold and silver flames appeared, traversing countless spaces to a mysterious destination. The 30th, life and death flame. This flame was originally controlled by the Hell's death judges, but after Xiao defeat of many strong figures in the Hell realm, this flame, along with Xiao Lingshan's reincarnation seal, had fallen into Mu Yingying's hands. The black and white two-colored flame refracted into the image of a tranquil woman. Her lotus step gently moved, and she suddenly disappeared. The 29th, treasure-seeking golden flame. Father's power? In a quiet mountain range in the human realm, on cloudy mist continent, a graceful young girl sat quietly. A 9-colored little snake and a silver-white mouse playfully frolicked around her, like children at play. After a while, the girl raised her hand slightly, and the silver-white mouse suddenly growled at the sky. A silver-white flame energy mouse silhouette left the area. It looks like the real war is about to begin. I must return and watch. The 28th, 8 Desolation Glazed Flame. One of the wondrous places in the human realm, the core of the 4 seas and 8 desolations. At this moment, there stood a small amber tower, filled with ancient prohibitions. Inside, it seemed as though a massive figure was in seclusion. Someone has triggered the flame god's cauldron. Is disaster about to strike? As the words were spoken, the rose-colored tower released an enigmatic flame, shooting toward the calling place. The 27th, soul-guiding nether specter flame. The source of the disturbance was the core of the ghost realm's Lihuan domain. At this moment, 11 figures stood proudly here, the one at the front striking a familiar chord with Xiao. The growth of Xiao. Xiao Mu's palm held a dark flame that flickered slowly, as if responding to some immense summons. Xiao Mu, Xiao Zifan, and even the Yama of the 10th King were all gathered within the ghost realm, guarding the entrance to the netherworld. Here, they were shielded by the protection of the Thunder Lord, making it impossible for ordinary beings to discern their exact location. The 26th Flame, Pure Spirit Immortal Flame. Within the Jade Pool Holy Palace, Yao Ling, her graceful form sitting in quiet meditation within the Jade Pool, suddenly opened her beautiful eyes. A helpless smile hung on her face. Xiao, it's only been a short time since we parted, and you've already reached such a level. As she spoke, a cyan lotus platform slowly rose, vanishing into the void. Yao Ling knew that Xiao, with his extraordinary talent and courage, was no ordinary being. The gap between them in the future would likely only grow more vast. The 25th Flame, Nether King Flame. This was a dim world, devoid of any light, filled only with endless cold and the scent of death. At this moment, countless pitch-black liquid streams began to condense in the air, forming a dark throne within this world of darkness. On the throne, there was nothing but a flowing cloak, imbued with a sinister aura that seemed to carry a mix of both righteous and evil energy. The Flame God's Cauldron has found a new master. Is this a test? The aura seems to be that of a descendant of the Xiao clan. But isn't that mysterious figure hiding in the dark fearful of the Flame God's extraordinary divine power? Why would he give such a divine artifact to him? Although that person never showed himself, from the traces left behind, it's clear he secretly obstructed the Holy King from controlling this item. What is his true purpose, and who is he really? A faint voice echoed from the throne. A voice so nonchalant, yet filled with a tremendous force that seemed to oppose the heavens. Who else could it be but the enigmatic supreme of the Netherworld, the Nether King? The Nether King. Many forces from the Great Thousand Worlds and the Outer Realms have secretly begun probing the Netherworld. It seems they've found a way to counter the power of the Netherworld. If this continues, once the entrance is opened, the Netherworld will eventually be exposed to the world. We have been grateful for your help all these years. There's no need to risk the entire Netherworld for our sake. It's not worth it. As the words fell, a strange figure flickered next to the grand throne. The figure's voice was serious, but there was an underlying aura of extreme evil that vaguely resembled the demonic power Xiao carried. Has the seal not been broken yet? In response to this kind warning, the man on the throne let out a light laugh. Instead of directly answering, he turned his head and asked. It seemed he was using his actions to assert his stance. No retreat, no surrender. The power approaching divinity is not so easily broken. Though over the long years, some faint ways to weaken it have been found. I sense that something's off with the seal. I fear that once it's broken, it will trigger the forces behind the scenes. Those guys rushing in will undoubtedly lead to a true deadlock. The evil figure beside the throne shook his head slightly, clearly troubled by the seal that had trapped them through countless reincarnations, yet could not be fully broken. Even with some feasible methods now at hand, there was still hesitation. After all, this place was the last sanctuary, and the uncertainties and costs of breaking the seal were too great. Summon the fallen angel, the death god, and the netherworld generals. Once the netherworld entrance is exposed, it will surely be invaded by other forces. By then, it will be a true death battle between us and the other major forces. With the mentality of the angel kingdom, the center of the human realm, In the outer realms, they will never allow them to wake up. After all, once those ancient immortals awaken, the structure of this world will be turned upside down. The man on the throne sneered, but his gaze suddenly filled with longing. If possible, he naturally hoped to engage once more in a fiery battle with those sealed, self-sleeping powerhouses. Such a world-shaking battle would allow him to unleash his full power and reignite the extraordinary divine power he once controlled. You've already helped us so much over these years. If the war begins, we won't drag you down. After all, the Netherworld has already suffered greatly trying to evade their pursuit. After thinking for a moment, the evil figure gritted his teeth and spoke. He knew that once the war broke out, if the Nether King didn't back down, the only outcome would be a tragic fall into oblivion. The Nether King's power had indeed reached the pinnacle of this world, but how could he possibly handle multiple supreme beings at once? The body that has been asleep for 10,000 years has long forgotten the feeling of life and death struggles in battle. I haven't yet reached the grand momentum of Doshan. Rather than fleeing, it's better to fight with our backs against the wall. A calm voice, yet within it was a hint of contempt for the heavens, an arrogant and domineering aura. Nether King, thank you. Hearing this thrilling roar, the man sitting next to the throne felt his eyes suddenly moisten. Even the evil power within him began to stir. There was a time when they had been hunted down like stray dogs, pitiful and desperate. In the highest ranks of the great thousand worlds, no one dared to extend a helping hand. Anyone who tried would only face annihilation. And in that seemingly hopeless situation, it was this man before him who, with his own strength, had turned the tables, saving them from the brink of destruction. This kindness he would remember in his heart, never to be forgotten. The deafening roar reverberated throughout the entire dark world. The desolation and coldness were far more terrifying than even the Hell Realm. The 24th flame, Ghost-Face Soul Flame. Xiao Yan's body surged, and the ghostly blue fire filled the runes in front of him. A subtle force slowly pulled Xiao Yan forward, while the holy runes above him began to flicker as though an aura was calling out to the faint power within the flame god's cauldron. All Xiao Yan could see were the runes slowly being filled. As for the whereabouts of the holy flame controllers, there was no way to know. After all, this was merely the flame god's cauldron's one-sided summons to the holy flames. It seemed the cauldron needed to gather these holy flame energies to recreate the world. However, as more and more of the holy flame energy poured into the divine cauldron, its full form slowly revealed itself, grand and imposing, with an aura so mighty it could cover the sky. In the void at the cauldron's end, there was a faint, mysterious power awaiting Xiao Yan. The 23rd flame, Mystic Green 10,000 Frost Flame. Demon Realm Region. This battle in the Reincarnation Sea is no small matter. As reincarnators, we must lead the charge, Su Shuiying said, speaking seriously to the newly appointed high-ranking members of the Demon Realm. However, to guard against sneak attacks from the outer realms, we must distribute our strength evenly. Understood. Even with all this effort, we still couldn't catch up to him. At that moment, little fairy doctor sensed the peculiar shift in the holy flame around Su Shuiying. She shook her head slightly. Su Shuiying bit her silver teeth, and a cold blue flame, as if summoned, rose from her body and drifted toward the distance. Watching the holy ice flower fade away, a smile of relief spread across Su Shuiying's face. She thought back to the time when she misunderstood Xiao Yan and treated him so ruthlessly. Even now, remembering those actions filled her with shame. But now, they had all truly grown. Their battle was not only for the demon realm, but also for Xiao Yan, even for the great thousand worlds. Even if it was just a small effort, they were all proud souls who had received much help from Xiao Yan. Now, it was only natural to return the favor. The 22nd Holy Flame, Ethereal Ice Flame. In the boundless fire domain, Mu Yingying's hand slowly moved, and a light shadow howled as it leaped toward the endless sky, silently praying for Xiao Yan and the boundless fire domain. The 21st Holy Flame, Blood Sea Void Flame. In the boundless fire domain, Yin Qi, busy with various matters, also felt a surge of energy rising from within, similar to Mu Yingying. With a wave of his hand, he allowed the holy flame to erupt from his body. The blood-red, murderous flame turned into a long, fiery river, crossing time and space, slowly departing. The 20th holy flame, icy smoke flame. In the ghost realm, Luo Minglan smiled as she watched the holy flame suddenly stir beyond her control, allowing it to vanish. This guy Xiao Yin had us appear in the boundless fire domain and then secretly moved us to the ghost realm, probably to confuse their senses. This final bloodline and the endless hatred will one day make those behind the scenes pay a heavy price. The divine cauldron, the flame god's cauldron, glowed with magnificence. From Xiao Yan's senses, it was clear that to truly shake its power, he would need to gather all the holy flame energy. Thus, he continued his climb toward the top. With the resonance between his flame mantra and the cauldron, he knew that this summons would take considerable time. Time continued to stretch forward, and Xiao Yin did not slacken his efforts. Although the process was slow, it was an excellent trial for him. Before long, the 19th holy flame, golden flame ember, appeared. The body gently surged, and a faint golden flame transformed into the shape of a small human child. Laughter and joy filled the air, creating an atmosphere of pure delight. Once this fiery force appeared, it vanished like a shooting star, seemingly racing towards an unknown destination. At this moment, in the Buddhist realm, at the place where this flame was born, in the heavenly stone cave, there was an ancient divine stone, constantly burned by flames. No matter how fierce or intense the flames were, they could never completely consume the stone. As a result, many monks in the Buddhist realm revered and worshipped this divine stone, offering it as a sacred relic. At this moment, a monk with a calm gaze stood at the edge of the divine stone. Watching the strange waves rising from the stone, he murmured, "The divine cauldron has appeared, and the calamity is upon us." The 18th sacred flame, the immortal sacred flame. The 17th sacred flame, the undying fire. Two flames surged simultaneously from Xiao Yan's body, perfectly embedding themselves into the patterns on the cauldron. The flame's sacred inscriptions were breathtakingly beautiful, and they subtly enhanced the powers of immortality and the immortal golden body within Xiao Yan, making them even more solid. The 16th sacred flame, the heavenly fiend foxfire. In the boundless fire domain, Mu Yingying smiled gently, her lips slightly parted. With a flick of her hand, a giant green griffin soared into the sky, leaving behind a trail of awestruck gazes in the void of the boundless fire domain. This flame, obtained from the Four Symbols cave in the demon realm, was gifted to Mu Yingying by Xiao Yin. The 15th sacred flame, the heartbreak flame. As Xiao Yin reached this stage, a wave of intense heat surged from his chest. Even though it had been a long time, memories of his time with Mu Yingying in the Xinling continent poured forth like a spring. Far in the distance, in the void, Mu Yingying revealed a proud smile. A pink flame crossed endless time and space, following closely behind. The 14th sacred flame, the eternal nightmare flame. However, when Xiao Yin reached this point, there was no response from the patterns, even after a quarter of an hour. It was as if this flame did not exist in this world. How strange. Why is it that only this sacred flame shows no response? I remember that this sacred flame was once controlled by a powerful being from the Soul Clan, but it was lost to time. What is going on here? As his body and the flame god cauldron aligned, Xiao Yin tried to trigger a resonance by activating the flame mantra within him, but there was still no response from this sacred flame. It seemed to have left the range of the flame god cauldron's call, as if it was no longer part of this realm. Far away, in the boundless void realm, there stood a grand hall where numerous sarcophagi, wrapped in milky white light, rested. Inside the sarcophagi were figures of heaven-shattering, earth-shattering beings, those with powers beyond comprehension. Yet, they all lay quietly within the sarcophagi, devoid of life, as if they were the spirits of the dead. The thick aura of death was enough to make anyone shudder. Above this eerie and strange hall, a milky white liquid hovered. Within this liquid was a flame that flickered, shifting between white and brown hues. Each time a mysterious force called to it, The milky white liquid easily blocked it. Heh. So you've touched the flame god cauldron so quickly? It seems Xiao Tianyuan, even after being slain by me, left ample preparations behind. Too bad that place can only be entered when the time, place, and people align. Otherwise, such threats to me will never be easily acquired. Nevertheless, before the final battle, let's see how far your destiny can take you. You don't have the strength or aura of a holy king. Even if you control the flame god cauldron, it is nothing to fear. A faint, demonic voice echoed, and at that moment, 8 sarcophagi simultaneously emanated a scorching heat, forming a profound array. Ancient lotus leaves adorned the tops of the sarcophagi, their glow unwavering even under the scorching heat of the milky white flame. Boom! Just as Xiao Yin wondered why he could not sense the energy of the 14th sacred flame, far away in the boundless fire domain, the spirit origin fire on Little Yi's body trembled. It crossed the vast void, filling the gap of the 14th sacred flame. What is going on here? Looking at this mysterious scene, Xiao Yan's heart was filled with astonishment. The spirit origin fire on Little Yi's body had been formed by the fusion of 22 different exotic flames from the Do-Chi continent. Xiao Yan had previously predicted that if this flame matured, it could rival flames ranked around 15th on the sacred flame ranking. However, this strange phenomenon still left him puzzled. Buddhist realm Bodhi ancestral land. Countless fire-red shackles descended from the heavens, immediately engulfing the void and forming a series of otherworldly phenomena, causing countless followers of the Buddhist realm to worship in awe. The 12th sacred flame, Nether Night Demon Fire. Su Shuiying, who was in the demon realm, once again felt the call. Her demonic sword hummed as the eternal night demon fire surged forth, its power so overwhelming it chilled the heart. The 11th sacred flame, Reincarnation Flame. This flame was once devoured by Xiao Yin, and thus, it easily transformed into sacred runes that began to pulsate. The 10th sacred flame, Shaman Deer Violet Spirit Flame. Xiao Yin smiled as a purple flame in the shape of a deer appeared, immediately rushing into the runes and transforming into sacred runes that danced and flickered. The 9th sacred flame, Nirvana Phoenix Flame. During Xiao Yan's visit to Phoenix Island, he had helped Xun'er resolve the hidden ailment in her body, but he had not encountered any of the Phoenix clan's formidable warriors, as they were all in the process of nirvana within the nirvana crystals at the time. With time passing, after the Phoenix clan successfully completed their nirvana, their leader, Feng Wan Yi, personally led an army out of Phoenix Island. The Phoenix clan, like the Dragon clan, were true rulers of this world. They had no interest in competing with other powers, and with the exposure of Phoenix Island's location, it was no longer suitable for them to reside there. Clan leader. Ahead lies the Void Realm. According to the sensing of several elders, this place should be a suitable location for our Phoenix clan's new home. But it seems to be somewhat close to the Dragon clan's territory. Report, clan leader. Several of our clansmen who went out to explore the outskirts of the Void seem to have lost contact. It could be the mysterious nature of the Void Realm. Settle the clan, and then summon those above the 6th reincarnation stage to assist me in establishing our new home. The Xiao clan's failure to rescue our Phoenix clan when we were in peril. We, the Phoenix clan, will not let this matter rest. As the voice fell, a dark and sinister aura seemed to slowly seep out of the void, for at this time, the great thousand worlds were far from peaceful. The flame god's cauldron? Just as she was about to act, the leading figure gritted her teeth slightly, and a golden phoenix shadow slowly leapt into the void, disappearing without a trace. The 8th sacred flame, 9 mystical vermilion flame. Within the boundless fire domain, Xun'er, who was busy organizing the great thousand worlds situation, felt both her artifact bracelet and the sacred flame within her stir. A look of surprise appeared on her delicate face, but after sensing the power of the sacred flame, her surprise quickly turned to joy, as the golden crow power around her began to gently flow out. She was certain that her brother Xiao Yin, whether on the Do-Chi continent or in the great thousand worlds, would eventually rise to the highest position. This was something she had never doubted. The 7th sacred flame, 10,000 flower flame core. Yun felt the murmurs of the sacred flame within her body. She gently raised her jade hand, and a pure white flame in the shape of a flower slowly rose. In an instant, within the endless void of the boundless fire domain, the powerful auras of countless sacred flames began to stir, causing the many powerful beings residing there to be slightly alarmed. The sheer number of flames and the invisible fluctuations emanating from them constantly affected the minds of the powerful beings in the domain. The Flame God's Cauldron, the God-slaying ruler, two supreme divine artifacts. Finally, we have a bit of strength to resist the heavens. Let us hope the worst-case scenario does not come to pass. At this moment, Yao Ji, who had been lurking in the boundless fire domain, couldn't help but smile with a sense of relief. Once the matters in the reincarnation sea were concluded, the final battlefield would be set, and it would likely be the true moment that decided life or death. The sixth sacred flame, nine heavens God-slaying flame. The sacred flame calls? Golden red flames scattered across a dark abyss. A faint voice suddenly echoed from the depths of the abyss. As the voice spread, several shadowy figures within the abyss quickly turned their gazes toward a certain spot, where endless golden red flames filled the air. A slender figure stepped through the void, walking slowly, and as they did, the entire world seemed to lose its color. This was the center of the human realm, the abyss of 10,000 calamities, one of the best places where the strongest of the human realm gathered to practice combat techniques. Realm Lord. This kind of fluctuation, could it be the work of that Xiao clan descendant? The other shadowy figures exchanged glances, their hoarse voices echoing throughout the realm, filled with intense murderous intent. Realm Lord, bad news. We sent numerous powerful members into the outer realms, and nearly all of them have been wiped out. Moreover, countless evil armies have arrived and are now surrounding the Great Thousand Palace and other powers. The counterattack from the outer realms has likely already begun. At this moment, several hurried black shadows appeared within the abyss, their expressions filled with panic. Truly a bunch of useless fools. However, the Flame God's Cauldron, let you control it for now. What of it? The moment the voice fell, a golden red flame erupted from within, transforming into a towering flame blade over 1,000 feet long, before vanishing into the air. In an instant, the entire world seemed to come alive with activity. This flame, is it the so-called fire controlled by the Realm Lord of the human realm? Looking at the sacred pattern flickering, Xiao was momentarily stunned. He had initially thought this would be the weakest of flames, but he never expected the Realm Lord of the human realm to be so prideful. The fifth sacred flame, Bodhi Relic Flame. The dark golden Buddhist pattern within Xiao body slowly rose, rapidly infusing into it. The fourth sacred flame, seven-colored healing flame. As Xiao body almost merged with the towering divine cauldron and reached its peak, his expression grew solemn once again. The angel kingdom and the center of the human realm. These two superpowers almost controlled everything in the Great Thousand Worlds. The immense pressure was like an abyss, weighing heavily on Xiao heart, further intensifying the pressure. Far away, in the so-called territory of the angel kingdom. Here, there was an expansive and fertile land, with countless buildings scattered across the land, all exuding an elegant and noble ancient aura. In fact, in this vast land, there were buildings that stood proudly among the clouds, drawing even more attention. At a glance, this place resembled the purest and most sacred land on earth, untouched by worldly corruption. The entire world felt exceptionally pure. Even the air contained an unprecedented lightness, making one feel at ease. At the heart of this ancient land, within the endless clouds, three magnificent ancient palaces could be seen, faintly appearing. Stepping here was like a mortal suddenly entering a divine realm, a sense of helplessness emerging. Below was the angelic holy city, the place where countless powerful angels resided. The cloud layers in the sky were home to the angelic royal family and those exalted beings who surpassed all others. At this moment, above the cloud layers, one of the three palaces, the Slaughter Divine Palace. The Slaughter Divine Palace was vast, with exquisitely crafted buildings, gardens, estates, and palaces countless in number. The plants within the palace were all spotless, as if they existed outside the bounds of the world, in a completely new realm. I need to meet with the Slaughter Divine official. This peaceful silence was suddenly shattered by a cold, stern voice. Jenny, you are the archangel personally appointed by the Slaughter Divine official. You should be more mature and composed. Otherwise, how can you lead our angel race to continue its glory? An angelic figure bathed in pure white light approached, speaking in a tone that was almost admonishing. Belen, we are both archangels. Stop trying to act mysterious here, Jenny responded sharply. Xiao and the others just captured the fourth evil god. Why did they leave in such a hurry? Did you instruct them? Facing this elegant figure, Jenny showed no signs of friendliness, directly scolding. The expedition to the demon realm had ended in complete failure. This was the news she had just received. What is that? The seven-colored healing flame? Just as the two were about to speak, from the depths of the three palaces, a seven-colored glow appeared, cascading down like an energy river, vanishing in an instant. Someone is summoning the flame god's cauldron? At this moment, the two archangels displayed completely different expressions. Jenny's face held more surprise, as though she knew little about the flame god's cauldron. On the other hand, Belen's face showed more anger, and a deep sense of unease that seemed to come from her very soul. This matter is of great importance. We must report it to the Slaughter Angel immediately. At this moment, Belen's face turned cold, and the unease in her heart began to grow like a seed, slowly taking root. The flame god's cauldron had reappeared. With that descendant's temperament, it was likely that true vengeance would soon be unleashed. After all, the events in the Angel Kingdom had caused immense harm to the Xiao clan. Even the most powerful sacred flame of the angel race has sensed the summons. Looking at the sacred pattern beginning to flicker, Xiao couldn't help but laugh. The third sacred flame, Heavenly Tao Reincarnation Flame. Xiao body trembled, and it was instantly absorbed into him. The second sacred flame, Primordial Golden Profound Flame. At this moment, Xiao finally reached the final step, because on the flame god's cauldron, there was only one final black pattern left unfilled. A wave of shock and fear swept through his heart. Holy King, respond to the cauldron's summons. Looking at the scene before him, Xiao slowly closed his eyes, a rare sense of nervousness overtaking him. If he could summon the Holy King's power, it would be enough to awaken the flame god's cauldron completely. It was still the domain of the netherworld. At this moment, in a narrow and desolate void, several dark coffins seemed to stir slightly, trembling as if summoned by the flame god's cauldron. Immediately, a faint silver glow gathered on the coffins, forming a tiny point of light that shot off toward the distance. Even though this point of light was minuscule, the power contained within it easily surpassed any demigod-level combat technique. However, this terrifying power seemed to be suppressed, as though sealed by something, preventing any violent fluctuations from being released. Boom! The final sacred rune, as expected, filled in completely under Xiao persistent prayers. In an instant, the entire towering flame god's cauldron became intensely hot, flames bursting out as fiercely as a volcanic eruption. Countless brilliant sacred runes began to boil, as if reigniting the flame god's cauldron, bringing back the dormant power that had been sealed away for countless years, returning it once more to the great thousand worlds. But Xiao was confused. The return of the sacred king's flame aura, despite his transcendent soul power, did not cause any noticeable reaction. It seemed that the disturbance was being caused by the imperial flame ring and the god-slaying ruler around him. The flame god's cauldron has appeared, and the reincarnation is stirring. The reincarnation sea should be awakening. A soft sigh resonated through the world, and then a beam of light, containing 35 brilliant sacred runes, suddenly broke free from the world's constraints. It shot through layers of void like a divine column, and fell into the reincarnation sea. It was as if the flame god's cauldron had just awakened and regained its strength, helping the reincarnation sea speed up the awakening of many reincarnations. Wait, something doesn't seem right. The flame god's cauldron has a total of only 35 sacred rune holes, The 14th sacred flame is missing and was filled by Little Yi's flame. Does that mean the so-called first sacred flame isn't part of this? But isn't the flame god's cauldron supposed to be a divine artifact created by gathering all the sacred flames? Why is the first sacred flame absent? Xiao Yan's mind was filled with confusion, and even he didn't understand what the first sacred flame truly was. It seemed that any records about it were missing from every part of the Great Thousand Worlds. Even the human realm center and the angel kingdom, which once held some precious knowledge after the First Heavenly War, seemed to have had any trace of it erased by some unknown force. It felt as though some creature or power was deliberately preventing the discovery of any information regarding the first sacred flame. Of course, Xiao Yan had once speculated that the first sacred flame, like the imperial flame, was a product formed by the fusion of all otherworldly flames. But now, after gathering almost all of the remaining 35 sacred flames, there was not even a trace of the first sacred flame. This conclusion led him to completely discard his previous theory. The so-called first sacred flame had now become a mystery troubling Xiao Yan. Sacred flames converge, and the world is revealed. Truly, I am from the Xiao clan. As the 35 sacred flame runes flickered, the towering flame god's cauldron trembled, and its overwhelming power seemed to shake the very heavens and earth, causing Xiao Yan's body to stiffen suddenly. Under this immense pressure, he felt as insignificant as dust, pale and powerless. However, as his gaze shifted, he saw the flame god's cauldron rapidly shrinking. In a moment, it had reduced to 100-foot size, and a dazzling radiance suddenly flashed. Within the light, there appeared the phantom of a handsome man, stepping gracefully onto the cauldron. His smile was filled with the pride of a parent watching their child grow. Xiao Yan looked up, his mind reeling from the shock, but his eyes were locked onto the center of the phantom's forehead. There, a familiar rune began to slowly pulsate and crawl outward. The feeling of familiarity was undeniable. He didn't even need to consciously focus or sense it. This rune was the Xiao clan's unique power. Xiao clan's clan mark. Could this super powerful being connected to the flame god's cauldron actually be from the Xiao clan? Xun'er? A sense of astonishment overwhelmed Xiao Yan, and after a moment, he struggled to suppress the deadly pressure around him, speaking in a halting voice. I am the master of the flame god's cauldron, Xiao Tianyuan. The phantom of the man smiled slyly, eyeing Xiao Yan with apparent satisfaction, but his ethereal form was incomplete, his appearance slightly sinister. Xiao Tianyuan? Upon hearing the name and connecting it with the clan mark on the man's forehead, Xiao Yan's suspicions grew stronger. Hee, it doesn't matter if you don't know. I was never meant to exist in this world. I am from the Xiao clan. The illusory, handsome figure maintained a calm demeanor, as if recounting the last few memories he had left. Grand Elder? May I ask, Senior, what is your strength? Xiao Yan naturally didn't know the internal affairs of the Xiao clan from ancient times. My strength, before I fell, had surpassed the peak of the 9th reincarnation stage. The man spoke lightly, his tone unwavering. Divine residence? Xiao Yan's eyelids twitched violently. Such strength was truly shocking. This is merely a remnant of my consciousness, and I can't remember too clearly. But don't hold too high of expectations, boy. I once attempted to challenge the Doshin, but as for the result, I have already forgotten. I vaguely recall, though, that this world doesn't seem to have divine residences. The exact reason, I cannot answer you now. Time is limited. There's a reason this remnant is left behind. Before that, feel free to ask any questions you have in your heart. The man, who claimed to be the Grand Elder of the Xiao clan, chuckled lightly. Clearly, he was left here specifically to wait for the latter. May I ask, Senior, what is your relationship with the Holy King? Xiao Yan nodded, then organized the more important information in his mind. The Holy King? That guy's true form is nothing but a flame, rising from a lower-level plane. He's cautious by nature and better at avoiding misfortune while seeking fortune. His talent and courage are unmatched to this day. During my travels across the worlds, I imparted some guidance to him, and because of that, many peak experts of the Great Thousand Worlds referred to me as his master. Senior, You are the Holy King's master? Master ancestor? Xiao was slightly surprised. What about the Imperial Flame Ring and the Flame Mantra? And the many exotic flames from the Do-Di continent? Suddenly, Xiao seemed to make a connection and couldn't help but ask. The Imperial Flame Ring is mine, and the Flame Mantra was also created by me. As for your last question, my memories are fragmented and unclear. All I can tell you is that, back then, my strength was boundless, surpassing the pinnacle of this world. When I attempted to reach the Do Shun, for some unknown reason, I dimmed and fell. According to the strong figures within the clan, before my fall, we sent the Imperial Flame Ring and a nascent sacred flame, formed from the world's spiritual energy, into a lower-level plane. It must have been transmitted to the plane you're in,